What's going on, everyone? So been a minute since I've made a video on Toshi. Did not sell out, continue to average down. My average cost right now is about 0.335. So reason for not making as many videos as I was maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, is because there wasn't a whole lot of price action to go off of. Okay, so we obviously know we put in these highs, right? Put in these highs all the way up here at about 0.2289, and we kind of pulled back. There was a couple moments in time in this area right around very aggressively. I was adding in between 5s and 6s when we were kind of teeter-tottering here, looking for that pullback into a previous high that we put in January, on January, what is it, January 14th, January 13th, in this range. So looking for this area to hold once again, did not kind of put in this lower high, back tested it again, averaged into it yet again at around the mid 6s. And once we kind of failed right here at the 0.382, which is about 0.00039s, okay, that's when things kind of started to die off. When things started to die off towards the end of February, we have to kind of think about what happened at the end of February, not only in the crypto markets where Bitcoin was looking at prices of 90,000, 80,000, 70,000, 74,000, 78,000, the entire stock market, right? So the NASDAQ 100 took a 25% haircut from all-time highs, put in drastic lows. That's actually when we lost the 50-day simple moving average, which is very, very important long-term wise on on any chart basically. So when the NASDAQ 100, when the S&P 500, when your big stock market started to take a crumble, the crypto market took a crumble as well. And again, we know that meme coins will get hit the worst. So when you're looking at a, let's say, 15 to 25% pullback on Bitcoin, you could potentially be seeing things 30, 40, 50, 60% pullbacks on some of these meme coins, and especially the newer, fresher meme coins that haven't really been a part of any cycle yet. Things like Toshi, I mean, pulled back 70, 80% from the all-time highs. From those all-time highs going all the way back here, we pulled back all the way to where we started from. Okay, so what thing is good about Toshi right now is we've broken through an area of resistance at 0.00059. Let's call it 6. So 0.006, 0.006. That's the area that we've just broken through here. Our next resistance is between 8 and 9. Okay, so if you start to see us approach 8 and 9, kind of be a little bit cautious as your dollar cost averaging in. I know a lot of people are going to start to feel some FOMO. Current market cap is sitting at 300 million. So from here, even from right here, right now where we stand, I'm still expecting a 4 to 6x minimum. Okay, 4 to 6x minimum. And that again, I want to emphasize on minimum. I think that we could very well be pushing beyond 15, 20, 25, 30x on Toshi. It's all going to be dependent on what Ethereum is doing. You got to kind of think about it. When we did this first initial run here, when Toshi got listed on Coinbase, we had no firepower behind Ethereum. Ethereum is back over 2,000. It's approaching 2,400. I'd like to see Ethereum get to 3,000, 3,500. I'd like to see this cycle Ethereum between 4,000 and 5,500. If we can get between 4,000 and 5,500 on Ethereum, you're definitely going to see all-time highs here on Toshi, and I would be looking at prices probably a double, right? Probably a double from the all-time highs. So if you think about where we currently stand now, okay, we approached market caps, and let me actually switch to market cap here so I can get a better view. We were previously trading at around a $900 to $950 million market cap on Toshi. If we start to take out the all-time highs, I'm expecting at least a double up. At least a double up from there. We're going to take out all-time highs, maybe back test a little bit, pull back a little bit. It's going to fake a lot of people out. A lot of people are going to get out of that, and then it's, could see a pullback between 900 million and 750 million, and then that next explosion could be all the way up here, which I actually have. Let me actually put it back on this chart here. Let me put it back on this chart. So if we kind of look at where I'm looking at here, right about there, just to kind of give us a rough estimate, we could be looking at least a 1.6 billion and 2.5 billion from there. Now, again, can it shoot up a lot higher than that? Absolutely. 3.5 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion. I mean, those are all price targets that can definitely be touched. The sky's the limit on a lot of these meme coins. If you go back in time and you kind of, remember things of what, Dogecoin did. You remember things of what Shiba Inu did. You remember things of what, Pepe did, even putting in that 8 to 12 billion dollar market cap. If Toshi was to do something like that, then you're talking about at least a 20 to 30, maybe even 40x from here, depending on where this wants to top out at. But just getting back into the ballpark of playing between 750 million and $1 billion market cap into these all-time highs from where we currently stand now is going to 3 to 4x your money. So just to put it into very simple layman's terms, you got $5,000 in, you could potentially be looking at 15 to 20, 22, $23,000 when this is all said and done, which is very, very good. Now, again, a lot of people are going to be chasing this move, right? A lot of people thought this was dead. A lot of people thought the crypto markets, going to zero, hell in a handbasket. But this was the time to be adding up. It was the middle of March, the end of March, beginning of April, middle of April. When we kind of were bottoming out here, I mean, we touched market caps of 95 million. We were below $100 million market cap here. Prices looking at the twos again. Prices were looking at the threes again. And even just a very short amount of time, if you look at the last 3 days, we have essentially doubled our market cap. So even anyone who was in last week for a simple $1,000 has already doubled up their money, maybe 2.5x their money in just 3 short days. So when things start to really speed up, that's when you're going to really start to see things fly. Now, the next price target that I'm looking at is about 350 million to 400 million market cap. That's going to be taking us, I'm assuming, into the price of that high 8s, 9s. So 0007 is what we're currently trading at right now. 00085, 0009 could be the next target. I would like to see a healthy pullback there. If you kind of go back in time, if you go back to February the 12th and even right around here, February the 4th, the first 2 weeks of February, we tested that area twice. And when we tested that area twice, we got rejected both times, and it was kind of stuck in this channel between $236 million market cap and 372. That's the new channel that we're now in here. So if we continue to just fade and fade and fade and fade to the upside here, I would look for some resistance here. And if you get a pullback that stays above 236, 235 market cap, that next explosion through 373 is pretty much going to be on. That's going to be solidifying the break of this overall downtrend, which, I could make a case that we've broken the downtrend here, right? I could make a case that we've broken this downtrend, and let's actually get this in white so we could see it a little bit better. Or yellow is fine. But I can make a case that we've broken from this high here on February the 12th to currently where we stand now, that we've broken out of the shorter term downtrend. I mean, again, I could surely drag it from these regions here and kind of even go back in time, and we actually started to break it 2 or 3 days ago. But for me personally, I would want to see this swing high taken out. So let me take this off the chart. What I want to see taken out is this level right here. Okay, so I would like to see us come up into this range, maybe break the $375 million market cap, pull back a little bit here. Again, the pullback doesn't have to be a very long period of time. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a few days, and then kind of push through that. If we can push through this area here, okay, it's pretty much going to be on, because a lot of the price action in here is a lot of fuddy-duddy price action, meaning it's not going to take a whole lot to kind of start pushing up very, very high very, very quickly. Timeline, okay? End of June, end of July, August, and November. Those are months that I'm looking at. Again, it sounds like all of the months, but I'm really, really looking for to at least be back up in this zone. Let me take this off. I'm looking to be, I'll kind of narrow it down for you. I'm looking to be in this zone by the end of January, or excuse me, the end of July. Okay, so the end of July, I would like to be up in this range. If we are over this range in July, okay, then we're going to be looking at, something between $2 to $4 billion market cap before the end of the year. Okay. And that can be really, really exponential here in terms of growth from where we're at currently now. So are you too late? Absolutely not. But I would wait for this move to kind of, if you already have a position, fine. You can add in a little bit, especially if your average is way down here. But if you're starting a new position, kind of wait for that one first pullback, at least a day. Let's get back into this 230 to 250 market cap. Again, we don't have to come back down there. But if you do see prices back in the sixes, back in the high fives, mid fives, that's where you want to be scooping this up so you can get the most bang for your buck once we start getting up to prices of, 20, right? 0, 0, 0, 20, 23, 25, and then beyond, right? If we break 25s, we're going to be over all-time highs. So just kind of do that. You can do the very simple math from where we stand currently to breaking all-time highs is about a 4x, right? 3 to 5x. Let's just, because again, it could stop anywhere, it could consolidate. You're looking at a 3.5 to 5x from here. So very, very bullish price action, guys. Keep spreading the word, keep posting, keep hashtagging, keep making TikToks, keep making YouTube videos, keep posting on X, keep telling your family, your friends, your grandma, your Uber driver, tell everyone about Toshi, guys, and get them all in on this. You don't want them to be able to miss out on making, potentially, depending on how much you want to put in, generational life-changing money for some people. But with that being said, I'll see all of you guys on the next video, and I'll try to keep these updates a little bit more frequent from here on out now that we've actually started to get some juice. For me personally, it was never a thought of, it was never a doubt. It was just, when we really lost this, about, I'm going to call it $250 market cap, $250 million market cap. When we were in this range here between the end of February and all through March, there was just nothing going on, guys. So like it put us back into a channel where, realistically, until we broke out, there was nothing to talk about, or we broke down. There was nothing to really talk about. It was kind of just a DCA zone. So this is your big DCA zone, dollar cost average. And basically just sit on your hands and kind of wait for better days, right? But now that we're out of this zone, now we've got a lot to talk about, because now we could talk about future resistance, future supports, future resistance, right? Future resistance, and talk about this moving up so we can all make some money. With that being said, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.